Okay. Hello, YouTube. This is Dog Pound, and I have decided to make my first mock draft. I see everybody else doing it on Twitter, so I figured why not throw my hat into the ring. And spoiler alert, I'm happy with most of it, but it really threw some punches at me. Starting off with Shadur Sanders going to Tennessee. I hope that doesn't happen. I've been pretty vocal that I would not mind him coming to Cleveland, or his brother Shiloh, who I think was snubbed by not getting an invite to the combine at least. Um, he's a real throwback safety, and I love the headache gang thing he's got going on. More power to him. But anyway, I had some trades in this one. There was only two. I traded round two, pick 34, or no, pick 33, I'm sorry, to New York. And they gave me pick 34, and we were able to pick up a third and a fourth for next year. That would be awesome. Only move back one space. But the thing is, New York used that to pick up Trevion Henderson. I was not too happy about that. But with the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, I had the Browns selecting Abdul Carter. Whether we keep Myles Garrett or not, that's a piece that would be very nice to have. Wouldn't mind Travis Hunter there, but I just feel like I don't want to say a tweener because he's really good at corner, really good at wide receiver, but he's going to the combine as a corner, and I just think the Browns could definitely use a wide receiver more than anything. And there was a lot of depth at wide receiver this year, which is funny because I ended up not getting a wide receiver in this draft, and that was one thing I did not like. But at pick 34, I decided to go with Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle from Oregon. We definitely need help on the edges. I think there's a lot of concern about DeJuan Jones being in shape, coming into camp, being the right weight. I think he'll be fine. Look at Mekhi Becton with the Eagles. He struggled with his size and some injuries early on, and then he just went and really helped win a Super Bowl. DeJuan is a hell of a player. I don't think he'll have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the lazy cocksucker we have at left tackle before. I can't even think of his name right now. Jedrick Wills, which is really a shame because I think he had the talent. He's lazy. I'm getting tired of just watching him Ole blocking. Like, Ole, watch out. And so we definitely could use some help at tackle, solidify that position. Pick 67, I went with Quinshawn Judkins. So we didn't get Trevion, but we got the other running back from Ohio State, national champion. Runs hard. I like that. He is not afraid of contact. He will run through you. And I think the Browns could definitely use that. I hope we keep Nick Chubb. He's, of course, not going to be the player he was, but, come on. He gets us. He's a Cleveland hero. He is what some people think Myles Garrett is. Myles Garrett, if we trade him, I'm not going to be disappointed. Now, obviously, of course, if we keep him, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, of course, I would love it. And I'd be more upset, honestly, at Denzel Ward wanting to leave if we got rid of Myles Garrett. But the thing is, in doing this mock draft really opened my eyes to how many needs we really do have. We need offensive line depth. We need at least another wide receiver, although I'd be more than happy with two. We could use some safety help. Linebacker is a big one. JOK might not be back. His neck injury is looking potentially career-ending, and you can't mess around with spinal injuries. So I did address that, as I'll get to later. Free agency is a little thin compared to what I was hoping. I want us to sign. Personally, I want Justin Fields, but I think whoever we want to go for, we got to go hard. Especially if in this scenario we don't get Shadur, we end up getting one of the later developmental quarterbacks. So we're really going to need. I say go after Kirk Cousins because I think he's going to be the best with Stefanski. He knows the system. That's his dream system. Stefanski gets his guy, and that would be That would be, I don't want to say a dream scenario, but it would be a good one. 103. Oh, no, I skipped one. 94, we got Will Howard. I think Will Howard, national champion. He's got a little bit of the swagger, and I would have called it cockiness until he won the national championship. I mean, yeah, he had a great team around him, but his ability to use his feet, he made some throws that just made my jaw drop. I mean, when he hit Jeremiah Smith to close out, I believe it was, in the national championship. I mean, he hit big ones against Oregon. Texas sort of bottled him up a little bit, but the fact we still took it to him, I feel like he doesn't get enough credit because of how good our team was. Will Howard, he impressed me. The only thing is, I don't see him lasting until 94. He did in this mock draft, but I think before the season, the mock draft season is done, he will be a fringe first round target, but at least second round. And if that's the case, I'd also looked at Dylan Gabriel with this pick. People talk about he doesn't have the arm, any of that. Look at what Oregon did. And a large part of that was Dylan Gabriel. I mean, yeah, they had a lot of talent as well, but you can't discount what he did. The poise he had in the pocket and the ability to extend the play, he looked really good. Speaking of Oregon, at 103, I took Jordan Birch, be great interior defensive line help. Malachi Moore at 165, the safety from Alabama. That'd be a nice little piece to add in there. Cody Simon at 183. I think he's a tackling machine. Great player. He could definitely help our interior defensive line. I hope we Devin Bush, I hope we bring him back. I don't know if his contract's up or not, but he was a nice addition and a linebacker room. I think Cody Simon would fit in nicely. We need a lot of help. Cupboard's going to be pretty bare, especially if JOK doesn't come back. 194 got Mello Dotson, cornerback from Kansas. I think you can add a corner pretty much any year. And then especially, if we do end up getting rid of Denzel and really hit the hard reset on this, we're definitely going to need more corner help. I've seen talk of trading Greg Newsome because we need slot corners, but I don't think when you're in a position like we're in that you can just give away talent. I think we should hold on to Newsome, but I can understand the thought process in that. Jordan James at 202, running back from Oregon. Boy, if we could have Quinshon Judkins and Jordan James come in there, that'd be another thunder and lightning combination. I mean, Jordan James, he was really impressive with Oregon. I think underrated too. He doesn't get enough credit for as good as he was. So pairing up him and Judkins. Running back I had looked at was Cam Scattaboo, but he went with the Bengals, which would really kill me. I hope that wouldn't happen, but now watch it happen. For 215, I went ahead and went with Ty Hamilton, defensive line, Ohio State. Pair him up with Mike Hall Jr. That'd be a pretty nice tandem, I think. I think they could both grow into that. Mike Hall had some flashes. I mean, he had the legal trouble and then injuries, of course, but when he was on the field, he helped us out tremendously. And then at 216, I went ahead and took G. Scott Jr., tied into Ohio State. He was the unsung hero in the playoffs. I think it was against Texas where we really needed him to – he fought for those extra yards on that third down that went into fourth down to make it 4th and, I think, 2 instead of 4th and 8. And those extra yards helped us tremendously. And that's when Will Howard scrambled for the first down and really sealed us that game. But that would not have – potentially wouldn't have happened if G. Scott wouldn't have fought hard for those yards. I think he's very underrated. He wasn't utilized the most at Ohio State, but I think he's one he could have a much better pro career than a college career. And I will always respect him for his heart and just never complained. He changed positions when he came to Ohio State. Good character player. And then rounding out, I got Chase Lunt from UConn, offensive tackle. Again, as many offensive linemen as we can get would help. I had hoped to get Seth McLaughlin. I saw him in there to help out our interior, but he was gone by the time I was really looking for him. So, and then 253, Tyler Cooper. I went with him since Seth McLaughlin wasn't there. Minnesota interior offensive lineman. And then had to get a kicker, Andres Borregales. Probably butchered that, or I said it perfectly. I don't know. You'll never know. Miami kicker. And we definitely need a kicker. Sad to say that again. Ever since Phil Dawson left, we have needed kickers badly. Thought we had one. Dustin Hopkins, appreciate him. But, boy, he has not looked good. Last year, he went right back to the Zane Gonzalez flashbacks and that whatever that guy is who's dating that Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. I don't know why I can't think of it. We drafted him and had a strong leg, got that game-winning field goal against the Panthers, and then pretty much disappeared. I'll think of it, and then I'll post an update. But that is my 2025 mock draft. First one, I'll probably do this again. Hopefully they'll go a little better. But I'm hoping for Shedeur Sanders. And then in this case, if he's gone or if we decide to go with Abdul Carter, I'm not going to complain. Just make sure you get one of the developmental quarterbacks. Hell, take two. I mean, look at what the Redskins did with Kirk Cousins and RG3. RG3 leads them to the playoffs, goes down, and then Kirk Cousins actually has a pretty good career in Washington. So, for those of you saying don't take a quarterback because it's, a weak year, I mean, if you want Arch Manning next year, that's fine. Go after Arch Manning. Don't ignore the position this year because we are hurting. You got to get the quarterback position solved. That's why I was hoping for Shedeur, who I believe is the best one. Cam Ward was there. I could have went with him. I'm not as sold on him just because I like the accuracy that Shedeur brings. I mean, most accurate college quarterback ever, according to the stats, when you give him a clean pocket. But all these quarterbacks are going to come with baggage. I think Will Howard actually, I would be very happy with that if we don't get Shedeur because I think he has all of the traits you would look for in a quarterback. I think mentally, physically, it's all there. We got to get some good running backs. Honestly, I wouldn't mind let's pivot towards free agency. I wouldn't mind Ronnie Stanley, the offensive tackle from Baltimore. He was one of the few that I really had my hopes set on. You could try to go for Sam Darnold. I think we don't have the salary cap for that, and do you really trust Sam Darnold? He had a good season, but he started to rear his old self towards the end of last season, and then the Vikings ended up paying for it. But there's a lot of ways this season could go, a lot of ways the Browns could go, free agency, the draft. I've even heard, trade for J.J. McCarthy from the Vikings if they're willing to listen. There's a lot of ways the Browns can go, a lot of ways the NFL can go, but one thing is for sure, this is an important offseason for Cleveland. And just the fact we're able to be excited for the draft again. I know it's under horrible circumstances, but it's going to be fun actually looking forward to the draft and not having to sit and wait for 2 hours or the next night to get to our pick. So, as a word of parting, as I sign off, there is life after Deshaun Watson, Browns fans. Hold on tight. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're finally going to have our first-round draft pick. Might get a little rough before it gets better. But, hey, we went through 0-16. We went through 1-15. We went through Hugh Jackson. We went through Johnny Manziel. We can get through this. I love you guys. And let's see where this thing goes.